gentlemen.
Unexpected success.
Who are those guys?
It's the comeback team. You already know. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen. It's the comeback kid. Ladies and gentlemen. Well, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Unexpected success.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Unexpected Success.
That's right. And we are the Comeback Kids. D. Roberson with my partner in crime.
Joy.
And today we have a very, very special guest, longtime friend, arguably the new king of New York basketball,
Let's go.
Mr. Book Richardson.
Woo!
What's up,
Bring
sir?
New York basketball back, boy. What we gonna do about New York basketball?
It's a city of over 8 million people, so when you say something like that, you got to be certain and sure. So I'm still trying to figure this thing out because there's so much good basketball, so many good people here. So I definitely don't want to offend anyone, but
Oh, come on, Book.
I'll take it.
A humble Mr.
yeah.
Richardson. I'm
take
sorry.
it.
Arguably, soon to be anointed, hopefully. I'm going to stay there, man. I'm going to stay there because I know what you're doing behind the scenes. So I'm going to stay there.
Heavy is the head, man. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
That's right.
Heavy is the head that wears
Speaking
the
of
crown.
crowns, you have on Boogie Down Bronx side. Where you from, Book?
So I'm telling you, D, this is where I get myself a lot of love and sometimes into a lot of trouble because I've lived in every borough
Queens.
except Staten Island. But I was born in Queens. Had some
See
great
what I'm saying?
had
I
some
knew
great
it.
memories
I
in
knew
Queens.
it.
Lived in Brooklyn for a little bit. Got a lot of love. I think a lot of people, like my friends, would say it's either the Bronx or Harlem
There you
because
go.
because I grew
The
up.
Bronx, baby.
I went to St. Raymond's High School.
That's right.
But a lot of my bones, 220 West 149th Street, 117th Street in Lenox. I've lived so many places because of my situation. So,
Okay.
But again, I claim Clay Avenue. I claim 1249 Clay Avenue.
And that's the Bronx.
That's the Bronx.
There you go. Just making sure.
in Harlem,
we got
like
a
I
little
said,
beef
it's-
right here.
yeah,
She's from Queens. She's from Far Rockaway.
But yeah, I'm telling you, like I've got a lot of really good close friends from Queens, and it's like Baisley, 40 Projects, and all that stuff, and then Springfield. So
Yes,
and then it's
yes.
Brooklyn. So like I said, I like to call myself New York's own.
So how did you grow up, Book? Like, how if you had to describe your upbringing, how would you describe it?
Rough. My mom had me at 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to mom. Shout out to your mom.
Yeah, shout out to mom because I always, as I grew up, I always said I wish she didn't have me. So she had had an opportunity to grow up on her own. At 15, she was a 8th grader, ninth
Baby
grader.
raising the baby.
Right.
So it was truly a baby raising a baby in the jungle. And
Right.
the one thing I always learned, whatever my mother didn't teach me, the streets did.
Right.
So that was kind of the going joke, like, Book graduated from U.C.L.A. I was like, no, he didn't. Yes, I did. The university on the corner of Lenox Avenue. Wow. So that's kind of what it was.
I love it. I love it. I
And
love
you
it.
got your master's from the School of Hard Knocks.
You have siblings?
I do. My sibling situation is crazy, Joy, because my mom, it's me, my younger brother Corey. I think he's 34, and I got a 25-year-old sister. I'm 48. So like my
Holy
mom's,
cow.
the spacing was
Holy cow.
crazy.
Right.
Then on my pop's side, it's a zoo of us.
You've been blessed with many
Oh, man,
siblings.
like I said, and then you got, I've had some, like my god sister's like my sister. She's a year older than me. My aunt, who's like my older sister, is a year and a half older than me.
Right.
So it's a weird dynamic. It's a weird
Right,
dynamic.
and then not to mention all the play cousins you got.
Oh man,
I got so many play cousins.
and now it's gotten to the point too, like always wanting a family. I got so many play kids, so
Right.
I got a daughter in Florida who's 32, and people are like, wait up, Book. Yeah, so
That's
my
math
high
that
school
add up.
coach one time asked, I have a surrogate daughter, Melissa. So she's from on the West Coast, and she's Asian, and Asian background. And my high school coach looking like, wait up, I didn't know you had no Asian girlfriends.
Right.
So so now and then sometimes you don't you play the part, and she's playing a part. She's that's my dad. Like I'm getting into the club now.
Right.
Book's my dad, and yeah, that's my daughter.
Right,
So
right.
it's as you coach for so long, you start to take on those responsibilities as a father. Sometimes, more or less as an uncle and a cousin.
Yeah. Well, let's roll back from coaching. We're going to get to all that fun stuff. Let's talk about you coming up and playing basketball and at two iconic programs, St. Raymond's High School and Riverside Church. Tell us about that.
Had no idea that I was going to St. Raymond's High School. At the time, playing with Riverside Church, back in the late 80s, early 90s, it was two synonymous places of basketball, which was the Gauchos and Riverside Church. I started playing with Riverside Church because, again, being in Harlem, I played at Millbank.
Okay.
Because my father had a candy store on 117th in Lenox. So, again, my mom was young. So, that was kind of dropped me off at Millbank, and I hung out and I ran around, and I started hooping.
Okay.
And actually, before that, I had these surrogate cousins who, actually three of them, Gary and Tariq Campbell and Jubal Odom. Now, they were older than me, so I just tagged along. Mm-hmm. They were really good. And they said, hey, Pocketbook, you're going to play basketball. All right. Had no idea what I was doing. I was watching them. So then I go to Millbank, right? So you're going to play basketball. Right. I started playing in this tournament called Small Fry. 5'1" and under, 12 and unders. We played on 8-foot rims.
Wow.
So myself and this guy Jerry McCullough, we played the power forward in the center. We dunking the ball. We the two biggest guys, tallest guys, and we got ball heads because we want to make the height. We got this board, and from that point on, my coach Tommy Swinton, who's believe it or not, Tommy's still coaching. So Tommy had coached me at 9, 10, and 11. He's still coaching. Mm-hmm. He went to the Gauchos. We were playing nationals, and he split. He went from the TS Bucks to the Gauchos. I was supposed to go to the Gauchos with him, but I went to Riverside Church because this guy, Adrian Autry, was like, nah, this is where you playing. And that's how it went. And, you play, you're 12, you're 13, and believe it or not, I'm not the tallest guy in the room now, but I was, overdeveloped when I was younger. So I was, the tallest guy. And I ended up going to St. Raymond's, and I'm telling you, my mom, and I tell a story, from Riverside Church. It was, you had two choices. When you were really good, you were going to St. Nicholas's Talentine and St. Raymond's High School for boys. And I was like, I'm not going to all boys school.
Right.
But knowing I probably needed that, so I had to go. I had to go to interview at St. Raymond's. I didn't know where it was. And Terrence French and myself, we went to a game at Mount St. Michael's High School for the Archdiocese Talentine versus St. Ray's, and St. Ray's won. And I said, yo, T, that's where we going. They had orange and blue. We like the colors.
You like the colors.
Neither one of us knew what the school was.
Right.
So that's what happened. You end up playing with Riverside, and then you go to St. Raymond's, and at that point, you meet your lifelong friends. Tom Mushat, that was 87. Mm-hmm. And
did you play with Eddie Lau and those guys?
So Eddie Lau is funny because Eddie is younger than me, but we played in camps together.
Right.
If Eddie was here, he would tell you I'm from
Eddie
LES.
did the show. I interviewed Eddie for the show.
Eddie would tell you I'm from LES.
Okay.
So I'm telling you, Joy, he laughs and he's like, Book, you got him fooled. He's from Lower East Side. I'm like, Ed, I'm not. But I'm just telling you because as you grow up, you moved around. I moved around so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ed would tell you I Book from LES. Yeah. And he said that maybe a month ago, and people looked at him, and he looked at me, and I just was like, yo, chill, Ed, chill. Because he knows some things, and he knows some people, especially as you grow up, and it's like, wait up, this dude is always here?
Yeah.
Now he's from here.
Right.
Right.
And so, then you end up going to St. Raymond's.
St. Raymond's where you were the point guard.
I was the point guard. I was the point guard back when you had to be a pure point guard.
Right. Who'd you play with? Some of the big names you played with, because you mentioned Terrence Frencher. Everyone knows
Terrence Frencher, Orlando Antigua, Danny Basil, Dana Dingle, Eddie Rivera, who's like my idol, Chucky Martin, Mike Thompson. I said Dingle, Carl Green, Tom Mushat, Frank Terrell, Kareem Reed was, when we were leaving, Kareem was coming in as a sophomore, him and Eric Harris, Charlton Clark. At that time, I think we just got it rolling. In 91, we'd won our first city championship. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And it was one of those things. It was
a lot of big New York basketball names.
At that time, New York City basketball, we were called the Baby Big East.
Right.
Our senior year, we were at one point either number 1 or number 2 in the country.
Yeah.
Our junior year, we traveled to Alabama, Alaska, and Missouri. Senior year, we traveled to San Diego, Hawaii, San Diego, and Missouri. And it was just one of those things where Coach DeCesar, his vision for us was like so immense because no kid from the Bronx ever thought that they'd play in Alaska,
Right.
let alone Hawaii.
Right.
None of us ever thought we'd travel the world for free, you know, dribbling this basketball. So being a point guard, especially at that time, it was about winning. It wasn't about scoring. Like my freshman year, I think I averaged 20 a game. And Terrence Rincher, he texted me as I started going through my stuff, and he said, "Thank you for sacrificing your game so I could be good."
Right.
Wow.
And I never thought he knew that, but I knew he was way better than me. I also realized that his path would be a little bit different because I didn't have the discipline that I needed, and I was still attached to Clay Avenue.
Right.
I was still attached to
Street stuff.
yeah.
Okay. So then you graduated from St. Ray's and you taken it over to
That's a long time ago.
Florida Atlantic. You jumped around, Florida Atlantic. Then you went to Monroe. Then your final stop was Pitt Thompson. Tell us about how your college career differed from the high school career, and was this kind of the turning point for you having this newfound love for coaching?
You know, the funny thing, having structure in high school, you know, whatever my mother didn't teach me, the streets taught me. I was always around older guys, and like sometimes just the streets fascinated me. You know, fast cars, pretty women fascinated me from the standpoint of that's what I saw.
Right.
And like I said, my mother did when I tell you she should get an award every year because a 15-year-old should never have a child.
Right.
You know, a baby having a true baby. And, you know, like I said, there's a lot of things that she could have done, and she stuck with me. My grandmother, you know, so again, I'm raised by women. My grandmother, my mother, my aunts, all my uncles were incarcerated. For what, you know, one reason or another, they were.
Right.
As I said, they probably were going through some things that I'm going through that I had no idea that they were going through. Like,
Right.
maybe they were depressed. Like they had no outlet. So as you go through high school, right? I had this one guy, Gary DeCesar, who he would not let me fail. Him, Greg Scott, Jimmy Sturgis, Ronnie Patnosh, they wasn't gonna let me fail. As much as I tried to, because every year I got kicked off the team. I never started
Right.
the first game of any season because I was suspended.
Right.
And coach would always ask the players, like, do you want to keep on the team? It's like, come on, coach. You ask, like, go ask someone else. Those guys, they know I will run through a wall for them. But it just got to the point with coach where it was like, it was one of those things where it was like, I love my team. I'm not sure if I love basketball anymore. I love my team, though. I love the camaraderie. And
You sound like a people person in general. Like you seem to care about people.
ultimately, Joy, I'm a pleaser and to a flaw. And as I'm learning that about myself, it becomes detrimental, you know,
Right.
because you say yes to everything and no to nothing. And I said this quote, and I thought about it last week, and I said, you know, I'm so many different things to so many different people, but nothing to myself.
Wow, that's deep.
It's interesting because I mean I think I think that's a very rare. You don't really hear that coming out of a black man's mouth, to be honest with you, right? I mean, I hear that a lot of women. Like I'll say all the time, like, you got, you want. No one's giving me anything up, but I'm giving, you know what I mean? Like, but it's. I think it's refreshing to hear that level of vulnerability, right? To say that I'm giving, but no one is actually
I
not
think,
receiving.
especially at 48, like I'm the most emotional I've been.
Right.
And again, I had to go through something. And as I continue to go through something, I'm like, you know, who are you? Because you start to say through all your years you had toxic mommy issues. You know, I never smoke, I never drink. You know, I had a propensity to be around pretty women.
Right.
Because what I wanted truly was to just be loved.
Right.
And what I wanted was somebody to be like, yo, you know, you dope. And not for me, you know, to say, hey, you know, you want a bag? You want some new shoes?
Right.
Because, again, I knew I would get my end result if you got a bag and some shoes or, you saw my car. Because, again, at 18, 19, what you pulling up in.
Right.
But that's what you saw. You saw that.
Yeah.
Right?
My mother, again, like I said, there was, when I talk about, like, this is 90, 89, my mother had a Louis trunk. There was no bag she didn't have. Like, again, my mother didn't work.
Right.
But we always had the best of stuff
Right.
until my dad.
Right.
So, and that, I tell you, like, all due respect, my dad was married.
Oh, wow.
So, whole marriage, I would be with his wife. I had a painting in the, in the candy store. He sold all the drugs in the world out that candy store. So imagine what I saw. Imagine what became normal to me.
Right.
So then I go to high school. Now I'm being held accountable by this dude. I love my teammates.
Of course.
Right.
I just hate the coach. I don't know why I hate him. I'm telling you, I think we, when you have to go and you had your school bus pass, so it ended at 7. So he'd always let us out, and he'd be like, "How you getting home?" I'm like, "Oh, the bus pass." He's like, "The bus pass ends at 7, man. How you get home?" I'm gonna take a cab. You got money for a cab?
How you afford a cab?
Yeah, where you get money for a cab? And it's just pocket full. And he used to be like, all right. He'd meet me on my block. And this is a true story. He'd drive his car on the corner. And he'd be like, why are you running? I'm like, why are you chasing me? So think about that as you go through it. Again, like I said, every year I was suspended. One time, the things he would find in my locker.
Right.
And again, he thought that I was trying to show him up. And I'm just like, yo, coach, this is a way of life for me, man.
Right. He had no idea.
Yeah, he had no idea. My freshman year, he would step on my shoes. So at the time, I got these Bally grades. I had green, blue, red, these suede shoes, Bally's. And he was like, your shoes cost more than what I got on. But that was my mother dressing me like the men that she liked.
Right.
So again, I'm a little man.
Right.
I didn't want that. But he'd step on him. I remember one time she was like, what's wrong with the shoes? I said, oh, coach stepped on him. Boom, she beeline there. She said, don't you ever step on my son's shoes. That was the first time that I fell in love with my mother because it was like, man, she's protecting me. Because before, again, I didn't realize how she was protecting me.
Right. As a kid, you just
As a
want
kid,
you
yeah, I
don't,
did
you don't care about the
discipline.
material.
Yeah,
You
I
want
just,
the
yeah, I
function.
just,
Yeah,
yeah. Let's go get some ice
discipline
cream.
doesn't feel like love, but that discipline is love.
And that's what you didn't realize,
Right.
and that's so even to segue to my coach, I'm really blessed to have some really good coaches, great coaches growing up. Mike Serino at Riverside Church probably gave me everything he could as a mentor, as a coach, as a big brother, as a father to me. When he passed away, it kind of messed me up. But then I had his sister Annette. I had birth like they were there. Because, again, as you get older, now my mother's looking at me like, I can't bug out on him because he's just... And as I said to myself, I'd never hit my mother, but I didn't realize what she saw growing up.
So how did you get the nickname Pocketbook? I heard you say Pocketbook. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I thought it was just book. Now it's Pocketbook? I got to know how you got
When I
the-
was 8 months old, I always used to play my grandmother's pocketbook. Stuck. So as I got older, Joy, I just was like... Now you can't be a tough guy in New York City. Can't name pocketbook.
Pocketbook.
So D, I tried to shorten it, and nobody was going for it. Tom Konchowski, who's legendary basketball scout, arguably the best ever, he shortened it, and his point was, he's booking, right? When he's young, you could run fast, or he's booking, or well, he's book, or he's it's good with the books. I ran with it.
Right.
Book.
I love it.
There you go.
I ran with
Love it. And it's legacy.
Yeah, and it
Legacy
stuck.
is-
I'm telling you,
Right.
like, my mother, through 40 years, I'm telling you, like, my mother's never called me Emmanuel. It's been Book. Ever. So my high school coach, deceased, is like, Manny, Emmanuel. I'm like, who this dude talking to?
Right.
So again, like I said, when you go to court, will the defendant please rise? Now I know Emmanuel. Now I know it. And they didn't call me Book there.
No.
So,
Well, how did Bally suede shoes, seeing all that you saw, how did you stay? I guess you stayed on the path you stayed on because you had such amazing mentors that kind of kept you on track.
yeah, and I didn't know it. Like Joy, I had no idea that they were leading me because I think even part of me coaching is because I want to coach me. I want to coach me at 13 and 14. I want to say, hey, listen, I got you. Because those guys basically said, I got you. you got me. You're working. I got this.
Right.
We good. Y'all hungry? Everybody good? So as you go through it, you don't know versus like how could I have reached me? Is there anything I could have done differently? Is there anything I should have said differently? And I think that's what happened in terms of coaching, because when I went to St. Raymond's, I'm telling you, once I went to Florida Atlantic, that was probably the worst thing that's happened in the world to me, because that's the first time I was held accountable and no one was there. So I'm in Boca Raton, Florida, running amok. And I was politely asked to leave, and I should have been asked to leave. I'm just telling you, from what I was doing, again, I got with some dudes from Detroit, started running around. I'm in Miami, Florida in 1991, 92. Don't stop, get it.
Uncle Luke time.
Going
Bass music.
shirt off, going crazy. So again, you got a kid you've had structure.
Right.
So now it's like, well, it's practice tomorrow, and you got class at 9.
That's it. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Who's gonna wake me up?
Who's picking me up?
Right.
Nobody. Just
get there.
So you mean to tell me I can go to Coco's, get some wings, watch the entertainment, and no one really checks if I go to class? Nah. So I can get on I-95 South.
Right.
I go to Hialeah. Don't stop. It was crazy.
It's crazy at that point.
And you know what? Again, I had an incredible professor, Professor Norman, and I had her class, history of the world, North and South, 1619 to 1800, and it was an honors class, and I hated it because I was like, I don't want anyone to know I'm smart.
Right.
Please.
Isn't that so backwards now?
Yeah. Why is it that you try to hide the fact that you were actually smart?
Because I never knew anyone that was smart that got credit
For being smart.
It wasn't cool.
Like my 8th grade, again, like I was always through, like in specialized schools, like my 8th grade year, I went to school with like this woman, Ainka Falani. Her mother, Lenora Falani, ran for the presidency.
Wow.
So like I'm in that class, like mad, tight. When I say like, yo, why am I in here?
Right.
Not knowing you have this talent.
Because my mom, she stressed that, but I didn't know anybody in the streets who was like that. Again, U.C.L.A, University on the Corner of Lenox Avenue, their degree wasn't from there.
It was a street degree, not a...
Right.
And again, no one patted you on your head and said, I got a 90 average, because as it rolled through my head, it's like, damn, such and such has got a block party for coming home, and this
You
person
got
graduated
none
from
for
Fordham, and they
graduating.
just got a pat on their back.
Right.
Yeah. That's very true.
So, as you go through, like I said, so you go through high school, you go through Florida Atlantic, beautiful Boca Raton. So, again, I got to grow up. Professor Norman was like, hey, man, she said, Book Richardson, wow, you're in my class. This is big time. You guys won. And we were terrible. We was a Trans-American Conference. We were going to Division I. And she said, hey, you're in my class. Oh, I can't believe it. We got a star. And I had a great game. And she said, before you sit down, go get a letter from your athletic director and your coach. Let them know why you missed my class for a month.
Oh, my God.
So I clutched my pearls and go,
How dare you notice that?
how dare you talk to me like that?
How dare you notice me not being in your class for a month?
By the way, there's 9 people in the class. So again, it was an honors class. And I did it, and my coach ran me. And she took an interest in me because I was the only black kid in the class in New York City, and she's like, your voice should be heard.
So you had all these mentors that were kind of steering you in the right direction without you even knowing.
I had no idea. And like I said, didn't know it. So again, like when I got, once I was politely asked to leave, because again, I'm just running amok.
Right.
I know how to be destructive. And that as I go through my life, I start looking at stuff like, you know how to break shit. Excuse me.
No,
Please, go for it.
You know what I'm saying? You know how to break stuff. But can you fix it? And then when you fix it, it's different when you fix it.
Right.
If you break a plate, all right, let me
Glue
get
it
the
back
big
together.
pieces. Now that plate ain't the same plate. It may be a saucer.
Right.
It's still serviceable, but what you now eat on it isn't the same thing. Do you eat on it?
Right.
It could be shards of glass everywhere.
Right.
Wow.
So I'm sure in coaching you run across so many people or so many kids that remind you of yourself, Right. And how do you, I'm assuming you become like so relatable to some of these kids.
You immersed in them.
Right. And how do you, like, what advice do you give them? It must be so difficult to see yourself and not be able to shake them and say, listen, don't do, like, you know what I mean? Like, wake up.
Love them. And that, I'm telling you, Joy, I become emotional with them because that's all I truly wanted. All the stuff, because I realized it's stuff.
Right.
I just wanted somebody to tell me they love me and be
Right.
sincere. I wanted someone to cook a meal for me and not, be expecting something else.
Right.
And that's, like I said, that's what really helped me with recruiting. Because when I came in your house, when I showed up in your house, I was believable because I really meant, like, if you guys are parents, there's no way in the world your kid's going to ever call and say he or she needs anything. Right. Now, I'm not buying them a car.
Right.
But they're never going to be hungry.
They're never going to want for anything.
They're going to be fresh to death.
Right.
They're going to know, like, if they get something like if I tell them, if a C is the best you can get, right, you bust your ass for a C, I'm throwing a party for you.
Right.
Now, if you can get an A and you got a C,
That's
you
different.
running. Right. That's different. Right. Because what I've learned in what you do off the court, you usually do on the court.
Right.
You're never going to escape yourself.
Right.
You're undefeated against yourself.
That is so
You're
true.
beating yourself.
That's so true. So let's take a step back to coaching now. So you're at Pitt Johnson, you graduate and you stay and become an assistant coach.
What the hell I do that for?
Why did you do that? Hey, but you cut your teeth.
Bob Rookavina, like I said, I've been blessed with some really good coaches. I became extremely close to him. His dad was dying of cancer. My junior year, I tried to escape. I took a Greyhound bus because I knew that route from Pittsburgh, Johnstown, home, Shippensburg. I knew.
Right.
I knew.
Right.
So I came back home, bearded out, and my college coach from Monroe, Coach Jackson, was like, "Wow, you back? You come stay with me." I was like, "All right, I stay here a couple of days." Saturday turned to Sunday, and on Monday he was like, "Yo, get your stuff." You know what I'm saying? We got someplace to go. All right. Took me back to the bus depot. It's like, "Yo, I got you a ticket, go back home." So I really became close with my college coaches, and he took me to see his father. His dad was like, "This is the guy from New York. This is the soft guy from New York who's scared, who's running."
Whoa.
Who you talking
to? You don't know me like that.
Yeah, you don't know me like that. Who you talking to?
Right.
And as he's sick, he got up. He said, "You, homeboy."
Oh.
This is a Polish dude now. So now I'm like,
It's cut deep.
yeah. And not only did it cut deep, he had made dinner, like prepared all that stuff. And when I tell you, it was because it's an eerie feeling for me right now because his dad was dying at the time. And again, like, this white male had me around his family in the time of crisis, who he had known me for months, but he had recruited me, and he'd always talked about the point guard that you were. Because again, as a point guard, it is to direct traffic, but it's to bring people together. I think that's the biggest gift that God has gave me, to be able to bring people together from all walks of life. So as you go through that, the second year I'm back, after Coach J drops me off, we have a great year. First time ever that, they get to the tournament. So it's a Division II school. They never won 20 games. We win 20 games. I'm a Division II All-American. I lead the nation in assists and I average 5 points a game. And his father was like, "Remember when you tried to leave?" And we would have that relationship. And when he was dying, Coach would take me to see him. Coach Rook would take me to see him. And as he's in the hospital room, I come in and he's like, he looks over. He said, "Is that book?" Now he doesn't recognize anyone else in the hospital. Wow. And I'm telling you, as I fight back emotion, like, it had nothing to do with black or white. Like the effect that you have on people.
Right.
That second year, we won 24 games. We're top 25 in the country. I lead the nation in assists again. And my college coach was like, "Why don't you stay here?" And it just kept calling me. I had to go back.
Right.
I went to Spain for a little bit, politely asked to leave. and I came back, and it was New York.
Right.
It was the allure.
The excitement.
The excitement.
U.C.L.A.
University on Corner of Lenox Avenue, School of Hard Knocks.
That's right, right. So then you coach there for a little while, then you head over to Xavier where you meet Sean Miller.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, you follow him, I take it, to Arizona.
Yep.
This is where the legend of Book Richardson begins. So let's go back now, Book. Let's go back 3 years. And again, anything that you don't want to speak about, you don't have to.
You family.
And there we go. So we're going to jump right into it. You were involved in a huge NCAA bribery scandal, which personally I felt targeted black coaches. That's my personal feeling. Tell us about that. For anyone who's listening to the podcast, is not familiar with New York basketball, not familiar with the NCAA, payola, bribery, anything that's involved with that culture. Tell us a little about that and what actually happened. Or what were you accused of?
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. Like I pled to conspiracy to bribery.
Okay.
And it's one of the things, as you're dealing with the feds, when I hear dudes like in songs talk about the feds, I'm like, please don't play with those people.
Right.
They're not here to play.
They are not here for show, for fun, or for play. And I always say, when you're dealing with them September 2017, and it's 8 of those guys with battering rams and guns drawn getting into your house, treating me as if I was Joaquin El Chapo. Like,
Right.
they're not playing with you, right? So you start to kind of lose yourself as an assistant coach, right? You're at this university where it's one of the top 5 places in the country. It's a destination job. Mm-hmm. Your goal, you're competing to win a national championship every year. Like, everyone else is competing to win, like, I'm going to get to the tournament.
Right.
Right.
No.
Get to the tournament. No. We're trying to win it.
You guys are favored to win
And every year, you're competing against the same programs to get the same kids. When I was at Xavier, the talent pool was much more, and people they wouldn't understand that. There are more kids I could choose from.
Right.
If I saw a diamond in the rough, and you redshirted him, you got him better, and he became a senior. If you became a senior at Arizona, they looked at you as a failure.
Oof.
They tried to treat it like junior college, 2 and out.
Right.
Because when you look at the NBA and you look at how they draft, they're not drafting 25-year-old. They're drafting 19,
Yeah.
20. Because, again, they want to make sure that there's a value for you when you turn 25.
Right. Of course. Pressure.
So as you deal with that, recruiting, because I've always said recruiting is truly word of mouth. If I tell you, like, hey, I'm going to take care of your kid, and I do it, and then D, now I got to recruit your son, I'm going to say, call Joy.
Right.
Right.
That's recruiting.
Call Joy and ask her what I did for her.
What I
kid.
did.
And ask her,
Yeah.
right?
If
You want to
any
get to the
doubts in your
games?
mind, right.
Let's figure it out.
Right.
Right? Was he hungry? No. Did he need for anything? No. Did he get back and forth? Yep. Did you hold him accountable? Mm-hmm. When he needed a bed, did you get him a bed? Mm-hmm. Did you get him a laptop? Well, Coach, that's illegal. I know, but I know what I told you in your house, too.
Right. I was going to take care of him.
So now, once he gets on campus.
So the line gets pretty blurred.
Actually, I'm not sure if there is a line.
Right.
Because what everyone says versus what everyone does. Mm-hmm. If everyone who eats sausage, patties, and if they knew how you made them, they would never eat them.
Right.
If they knew what you had to do to recruit to get a kid.
Right.
So as you deal with that, you're now saying,
I'm still processing that. If you knew it was in a sausage patty, you wouldn't eat it. And if they knew what you had to do to recruit these kids.
to get one kid to win one game, no one knows what it is. Unlike the NBA, where it's truly a business, you got 82 of those games. In college basketball, it's 35 games.
Right.
You play twice a week. What was that? The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. And I would say, and again, maybe I get crushed for this, but when you start looking at these coaches and the money that they make, what else could they do in life to make that same amount of money? A coach that makes $8 million a year, what else could he do in life to make $8 million?
Right.
$5 million. What else? And because, again, as a society, we look at entertainment.
We revere.
We revere.
They revere. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, right now, college basketball, are those kids essential workers? Because they're playing.
Right.
Right. Right.
COVID has hit. They haven't stopped it. They've postponed it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's entertainment is
right? Because again, the NCAA, that's $1 billion. I don't want to lose that again. I wouldn't want to lose $1 billion.
Right.
I always use this analogy, and I know I'm going off, but I said if I ever had an opportunity to tell somebody, I'd use this analogy. The FBI, they're the principal of the school. Whatever happens in the school, right? You guys been to high schools where dudes smoke weed. There's a lot that happens in the high school. Just don't
Right,
get
of
caught.
course.
The NCAA is the parent. The universities are the kids. Well, the kid got caught in school with some weed.
right,
Well, weed's legal. Well, where at?
right,
Right.
You know what the principal's asking the parent? Where'd he get it from? You know what the parent's saying? Where'd you get that from? I got it from your medicine cabinet.
right, right.
You know, what's that commercial? I learned it from you.
Learn it from you, Dad.
I learned it from you, Dad. I'm wrong? You and Mom, I see. Oh, don't sell it. Okay. But I got it from your medicine cabinet.
Right.
So that's kind of the analogy I always use. Like, you guys are crushing me for something that's been happening for 70 years.
Forever.
70 years it's been happening.
And by the way, you just start to see, like, I looked at some guys that were killing me, and I'm saying, wait up, you were a coach. I know what you did.
And what just for shits and giggles, were these white coaches? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The hypocrisy, it's like, it blew my mind. Everyone's
the
like,
hypocrisy is definitely.
and the hypocrisy is like, wait up. So you guys have come into the inner cities for years, and they're going to your schools just because they like you?
No.
Come on, guys.
They've been poaching talent from the hood for years, and they're not going to your school because they think you're cool.
No.
Because you relate to them?
No.
No. Bills are getting paid at home.
I've always said I can go to any, and this is what I learned through this process. I validate people, right? We go to South Central Los Angeles. My homies, shout out to all my homies in L.A. Shout out to all of them. We go to Vegas. Shout out to my homies in Vegas. They made sure I was all right, and they also made sure my man was all right. We ain't have to check in. They with the homie. See, and imagine that feeling every time you go someplace, you with somebody that you're
You're
validated.
good.
Right.
I've always said, when's the last time somebody validated me?
Well, it just seems like you've had nothing but, even when you describe, the top assists, 5 points a game, like this kind of this narrative of selflessness, right?
Right.
Constant selflessness, right? And so
Making others great.
making others great, and then you get into a situation where you have to kind of fall on the sword because it's the right thing to do, right?
I know no better. My integrity wouldn't allow me to do anything else other than that.
And so, but again, selflessness, because ultimately you could have blew the whole thing over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have been. You know what?
I would have been Nino Brown.
Yeah.
I saw Pharrell did a
Yeah,
podcast,
yeah.
and he was like, "Yo, I'm snitching."
Right.
He's like, "I ain't no street dudes.
I'm
Let
civilian.
the street dudes do the street stuff." If you put me in a situation, I ain't no street dude.
telling.
Everyone has their position. I'm snitching. Where they at? Like,
Right.
Yeah. And then
and I respected it because I think that, I understand. I've seen both sides. I'm from, I get both sides. But I do think there's some credit should go to people when they don't feel like being like, no, I don't want to be super street and loyal to people who don't deserve it, right?
Exactly.
I actually want to tell my story, right? So
Joy, Pharrell, and I definitely understood where he was coming from. I don't look down my nose at anyone.
Right.
Everyone has their own individual journey and path. Again, through 48 years, because it was what was important to me at 12 and 13 and 9 wasn't important, may not have been important to Pharrell.
right.
And vice versa. And, maybe that's why he's in a different stratosphere than I am.
I mean, I think we're all kind of
But I
I
would
get what
say
you're
that
saying.
with all due respect, because I don't look at him any differently.
Right,
Like,
right.
He should.
Right.
I never thought I never thought a crime was committed.
right,
I never
Right.
thought.
which
that.
is everything.
Right. So you thought you was doing something out of the.
I thought I was doing my job.
Helping people,
You're
helping
doing your
kids,
job.
doing your job.
Thought I was doing my job. And even when people say, well, Sean Miller should be, listen, that's between him and everyone else.
Right.
I know this. I know, being at Otisville Correctional Facility, like that was the turning point to my life through 48 years, because I'm telling you, I thought I'd escaped. I thought my uncles everyone was incarcerated. Yes, I won, because again, I did come from the belly of the beast. I didn't fake any of that. Like, that was real.
Right.
So now to be hit with this, you feel like a failure. You feel like everybody that ever helped me in life, like, I'd let them down, because the last thing I ever thought was be in jail.
Right.
It was a connotation of, I made it. I made it.
But what if it's more of a rite of passage, right? Like if the men in your family have kind of gone through the same thing, but your ability to be able to kind of transform that experience into something like much bigger, right? I mean, it's kind of like it's kind of weird, and I'm just kind of thinking about this, but it's kind of like the men in your family have been down this path, but you have an opportunity to perhaps change the narrative, right?
So Joy, like that was it. That's what I thought I was doing. I thought I'm living in a 5-bedroom house. I never, again, you grow up. I never lived in a house. I lived in an apartment. Mm-hmm. I knew what that is. I'm a consumer. I know how to consume. I know how to buy nice things.
Right.
I don't own.
Right.
And like I said, as I got older, it was like, this is what it was. So you get to this place where, you're making, I'm making $250,000 a year, just salary with no bonuses, no nothing. It's like, man,
right.
I never would have thought I would make this legitimately. Mm-hmm. So D, now as it happens, it's like, wow, you guys are saying I did something. I'm saying, like, no, it wasn't that. But you said, no, like, we're here. And I think what happened, ultimately, this thing spiraled out of control. Mm-hmm. And I think as you start to pull back the layers, if you really wanted to get to the layers, like, it's bigger than me.
Way bigger than you.
Way bigger than you.
Way bigger, because it's at the top of the scandal was Adidas. They're not, the head of Adidas didn't do federal time.
You don't know his name.
Exactly.
So do you think that you were kind of a fall guy? Do you think that they had to punish somebody?
Somebody had to be punished. We spent way too many man hours, way too much money. Someone has to be punished. And it, again, at the end of the day, I think the law is always just to those who know the law. Mm-hmm. The laws are not made for the common man from the standpoint of even how it's written.
Right.
Our Constitution, the way it's written.
Right. And I mean, ultimately, laws are made. It's all based on, how you view the law, right? And so you can skew it and you can manipulate words. And they didn't mean they made, you know what I mean? You kind of
100%.
like, you just change it up
right.
based on what you needed to say to fit what you needed to say. So,
and if you can afford that too, because now, again, a lot of people understand, like, the law works for you when you can afford it.
of course.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Absolutely.
But ultimately, you can get the best lawyer. If the system is designed for you to be the fall guy,
You're gonna be that fall guy.
you're gonna be the fall guy.
Right.
It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
right? You can get a great lawyer, and it's kind of the great lawyer is gonna get pulled aside.
Let's figure this out.
Right.
Listen.
Listen.
I know it's messed up,
But
Give them the cop to this.
right.
and then let's have drinks later.
Yeah.
We'll have martinis at the bar later.
Because we went to school together.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we put our kids in school together as well.
that is that's the bottom line.
We traveled to Monte Carlo.
Right.
No.
We
share a villa.
It doesn't opposing counsel are friends,
Absolutely.
right?
And I think that's what we don't understand, because again, everyone watches Law and Order and it's like, that's how it's supposed to be. There's no perjury. There's perjury.
right.
Right.
It's what it is.
So-
It's sadly.
So out of the coaches who were involved in this quote unquote scandal, you were the first to go to jail. You went to Otisville,
Mm-hmm.
and you spent how long?
90 days.
90 days. So 3 months of your life taken away because you did the right thing in your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
How did you maintain your sense of self? How do you maintain your optimism? How do you maintain any type of happiness during those 3 months?
You don't, because that was the first time. I'm fortunate enough to have, like, Otisville was awesome. Otisville had, I had guys like Lee, Will, my man Ike, Michael Cohen, who ultimately had to calm me down.
Michael Cohen,
Yeah.
Trump's
Mm-hmm.
lawyer, Michael Cohen?
Yeah, him,
Wow.
Joe Picoco. Like, I was in there with some guys that, who they would look at my situation, and because I just was like, this is the first time I'd been in trouble. This is the first time that someone publicly said they didn't like me. And this is the first time that I became the face of a scandal, and I couldn't hide because I was from New York. And I felt like, man, everything that I've done, I'm now here. This is real. Like, I thought, I bought my book bag with me. I bought my CPAP machine with me. Like, yeah, I'm here. I got my cell phone. They looked at me, was like, what are you doing? And it got real. My ex-wife drove me. One of my players, Tu Holloway, he rented an SUV, and nobody was trying to cry. No, everyone was trying to be like strong. And it was rainy day. I think it was a Tuesday. And it's like you get up there and it's like, all right, I'm good, but I'm trying to be good for them because this is the first time ever you're being you're driving yourself to to jail.
Prison, right? Again, another show of selflessness. You're trying to be good for them.
Selflessness is the theme. The selflessness.
Stupidity a little bit because
But
Joy,
that's the fiber of your being, though.
It's not stupid though.
But part of it is because as I went through this, right? So I get there, are you in a gang? What gang are you in? You a Crip? And I'm like, what?
Excuse you?
I'm an adult.
I'm an adult. I got love for them. I know. But,
I have love for all people.
But at the end of the day, excuse my expression, spread your cheeks. Spread your cheeks, motherfucker. What? You're in this
violation, right?
So it's like, hold up. Oh, shit, this is real.
Yeah, they own me for the next 90 days.
Boom. It's processing. Dude,
when to wake up, when to go to bed. Everything.
Yeah, dude come in and was like, yo, you must have pissed somebody else. So you must have pissed the judge off. Why are you in here? I don't want to deal with you. And he had every right to feel that way. Like, what are you in here for?
Right.
You get some clothes that are too wide, too short. You in your greens. You got some shoes that don't fit. And I'm telling you, like the dude Emil, he was dope. Like he said, listen, everybody knows who you are, coach. They know. It's 100 of us in here. We try to look out for one another. Keep your nose clean. Mind your business. Your time will be easy here. Mm-hmm. And so again, you're trying to look around, and like I said, my man Kevin and Will, I fell asleep. I was, again, now I go to the bunks. Yeah, you got the top bunk, man. So now I'm like, damn, do I gotta fight somebody? Like, because now I'm thinking about odds. I'm thinking about every job. When I tell you I went to sleep, I slept so hard because I didn't have my CPAP, so I got sleep apnea. They said, like, yo, dog, you slept so hard. I said, that's the first time I probably slept in 3 years. Because now I'm in jail. Like, because again, you're thinking, when they took me, Joy, they was like, yo, you're going to get 60 years. I said, for what?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
So now, this is what they're hitting you with. This is going to test your loyalty. And I'm like, test my loyalty? What? It was $20,000 that, he gave me, and he gave it to me to give to a kid. Like, I didn't request this for me. Right. Oh, well, you kept it because y'all didn't give me a chance to give it to him. And then when he told me to keep it, I took care of my wife.
But by the way, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah, like, Joy, I'm telling you, that's why they was pissed off. That, again, something had to happen. They gave me $5,000, and then you know what I did? I gave it to my ex-wife. She was in the city.
Right.
That was the first time that I was like, nah, yo, just get what you want. Again, they gave me the money. It wasn't negotiate. Well, you said, based on the conversation that we had, guys, you said, okay, you don't mind giving me the 20 grand. Well, you asked for it. Guys, come on now. Mm-hmm. Come on now. You asked for my help.
Right. You came to me.
I didn't solicit you.
You came to me because I was the plug.
So it's like that. That's what you see. And so now, like I said, you're in there and it's 3 years. Your mind, I'm telling you.
Wait, 3 months, right?
Yeah, so like I forgot my date of birth. I forgot my phone number. I was like, so emailing. I forgot that I was emailing the same message to the same person because, like, you short circuit. I read 10 books in 90 days. I wrote a book, like, and I'm in there writing. And I'm telling you because you eat at 4, chow is at 4, right? You got breakfast. You count, you know what I'm saying? You got both counts. You got to make sure it's standing count. So, you know what I'm saying? You want to make sure that you up for count. You don't want to fuck up count. You know what I'm saying? You don't want them dudes saying like, yo, we got count again, and it's on you. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure that you do everything that you're supposed to do. And in that time you in there, you just start to say like, yo, this is like, you know, I'm waiting to get to the weekend and get a visit. Mm-hmm. Then at certain times of the day, like I said, you use your phone, you got 300 minutes for the month. I didn't realize that. I thought if you just kept putting money on the phones, yo, you could use it unlimited. Nah. You know what I'm saying? None of that stuff you don't know.
Right.
And no one's there to teach you. You just got to it's
Figure it
experience.
out.
Yeah, you got to figure it out. And if you don't figure it out, you know what I'm saying, your time there is going to be miserable. And like I said, the people at Otisville, like them dudes, they were so solid with me. Will, Kev, Ike, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, Joe Bacoco, Michael Cohen, like those dudes were solid. Emil, hey, coach, what size shoe do you wear? 11. Okay, hey, Alex got some New Balance. Go down there and get the New Balance. All right, cool. Hey, coach, you know, my man Just, yo, coach, yo, what? Now we gonna get you some better pants. Now you don't need to look like that. Yo, coach, yo, nah, get a different shirt.
Right.
I was looking like, I'm telling you, I was looking so crazy in there that I keep this picture, and that's part of my jail.
Wow. Personal funds.
That's, you know, again, when you got out, you have money in your commissary.
Right.
So, you know, dudes, and part of it.
You look different, like a different person now.
You talk about it was the heaviest I've been, the stress, because you like, smile.
Right.
Right. For what?
Smile for what? Oh, you only got 90 days. I can do that sitting down. I shouldn't have to do 90 hours.
No.
Right.
You know, people are fascinating to say something like that because it's kind of like, you know, I didn't do anything.
Right.
I think that's the
I'm not a
biggest
criminal.
thing. Like you know, if someone ran in here right now and tried to take me off for doing something that I'm like, wait, what? For what? Wait, what? It's the shock of it all. It's like it's trauma.
And that's what you face, right? Because again, there's a level of emotion that I still deal with, because it's like everything was taken away. You lose everything. I lost my career, I lost my house, I lost my family, I lost my wife. Like, you lose everything. Mm-hmm. And my life wasn't perfect before this.
Right.
But you can mask it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was always easier to deal with others because I didn't want to deal with me. So now you're in a place where all you have are thoughts.
Of course. And you're stuck with them because there's no place else to put them. You got 90 days to think about it.
Who you talking to?
Right.
Who you talking to?
Talk to yourself.
Yeah. And now it's like, do you laugh at somebody's joke? Do you befriend someone who someone else doesn't befriend? I'm telling like you know, there's a dude, Johnny Blaze, who he was like, listen, coach, I know you need your sleep machine. You know, let me see if I can find someone that can help you get an extension cord to it. Like those
Wow.
like when they did that because they knew like, yo, I wasn't sleeping.
Right.
Then it's like, all right, yo, you got to try to put, you know, some purified, you know, some distilled water. Like, where do you get that from? So dudes start talking. So now it's a little community, and it's like, yo, dudes. The one thing I realized, if you solid and you a good dude, everybody else gonna make sure you're right.
Mm-hmm. They'll give you the love you want.
They gonna give you the love. I'm telling you, my first day there, I'm with Will and Kev, and the lady was like, yo, before I give you anything new, yo, you gonna unload this 18-wheeler. Full of furniture before I do anything for you. And then she was like, welcome to prison. My first visit, you know what I'm saying? Like, lady cop, she was on it. Yo, y'all don't hold hands, nothing. Yo, if her shirt is too low, it's like, yo, like. So you start to say, like, wait up, this can't be life. Like, and then that, because my mind is saying, you keep saying you're not a criminal, but look where you at. So your mind starts messing with you.
Right.
You said you're not a criminal, okay.
Then why am I in jail?
Why you here? Leave.
But also, you know, a common theme, and I share this with you, is like issues with figures of authority, right? I mean, every place you went, you said that they sent you on your way, right? You did
Politely
what you want.
asked
They
to leave.
politely asked you to leave. And so you end up in this space where now, you're unable, you lose your liberty, right? So what you probably disliked was authority. I hate authority too, always have, right? So now you have someone telling you what to do from the perspective of even telling you that your wife can't have a shirt low. Like,
Can't hold your
like
wife's
you know what I mean?
hand.
You can't.
Yeah.
Can't hold my wife's hand.
Naturally,
Yeah.
you're like,
Word.
hold on, who are you
Nah,
talking?
you
Like,
can't
who are
hold
you
her hand, nah.
talking to, right? And so,
Or I do you one better. So it's vending machines, but you're not allowed to have money, nothing. So the only time like you can get this stuff is during visits.
right,
So now you're like a child. And by the way, Joy, babe, can you get me the Snickers? Or your brother man, it's been a pizza and I've been eyeing for a week. I can't get it.
I can't get it, but you can get it for me.
It's that one. It's the refresh water.
Wow.
Your kids are like I got grandkids. Like you know how low I felt. My grandkids saw me in greens.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
Like you're trying to raise kings. You're trying to like say like this is how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Papa, why Papa was here?
yeah. But you know what? When they get older
They'll know the
and
story.
they understand what it is,
I just hope that they can get older to understand the story versus being a part of the system.
right? Well, and 100% there's a system.
I
There's
hope,
no doubt there.
I hope it's not where Pop went.
Well, this is we really want to.
Let me get.
I mean, yeah.
Let me ask you more questions.
It's like
So
it's so
it's a-
shitty on so many levels.
I know it's so shitty. Do you hold any resentment for the individuals who may have not been charged? Do you hold any resentment toward Christian Dawkins,
Nah.
Sean Miller, or any other coaches who was able to
Initially-
skirt?
Yeah, initially I hated those guys because they weren't going through what I was going through.
Right.
And then immediately I snapped out. I don't want anyone to go through what I was going through. You know what I'm saying? They like a year ago tomorrow I tried to commit suicide.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I walked on 45th Street Bridge and I was like, that's it. I walked from church on 16th Street. You know what I'm saying? I just got tired. And I as I talked to God, I just was like, yo, this is it. Because
Really?
I always felt that I had like this 800-pound silverback gorilla like telling me like, yo, you bitch ass nigga, go ahead and do it. You ain't gonna do it. Go ahead.
Wow.
And I'm telling you because you never dealt with trauma, you never dealt with stress, and you never dealt with mental health. Because as black men, I'm not talking to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Problems with my wife, I'm not discussing them. That's what Big said.
Right.
Notorious, he said that.
And these and rappers have
You know what I'm saying?
for
Again,
a long time been
Perpetuated that.
So again, they perpetuate that.
right.
So
Tough. Everyone's tough.
100%. And tough to what? Because again, I had no idea what I was tough to. What I realized was like, yo, you know what? You're a little boy who have toxic mommy issues because you never addressed them. And what you did was you used women for love. Because I was a nice guy, right? I'm a nice guy. I'm not putting my hands on you.
Right.
But what you're doing is, my man, you're saying things that you don't have to say.
Right.
But I'm saying them, Joy, because I'm like, yo, I know that's what's going to get me to what I want.
Right.
Come on, girl, you know I love you. Come on.
Right. Of course.
Now you into it. I'm just like, yo, I just wanted to.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So now I'm like, nah, now I have to explain to you like, well, it wasn't really like that. Why'd you say that?
Right.
Because I thought,
Right.
Wow.
because again, like, as I learned, like, damn, those were the things. Like at one point, I think I was 19, and I had 11 different girlfriends. All of them was my main.
Right.
And my main used to be like, he said, yo, what are you doing? You can't have 11 chicks thinking they're your main.
Right.
Yes, I can. I love them all the same. He said, you don't love them, homeboy?
You tired though. You tired.
Not only was I tired, I was exhausted.
Of course.
Right.
Gotta be.
I was exhausted because, and by the way, that's kind of what I was taught growing up. Like I said, my uncles, that what they would tell me? A rat with one hole is a sorry rat. And again, I saw it,
Right.
but I saw it on both sides. My mother, like I saw it.
Right.
I saw my aunts. I understood the game. It ain't personal. Don't make it personal.
Yeah. The game that you thought, the game that you were taught. Right. Right.
Wow.
So, again, so that resentment towards those guys, man, I never wanted them to feel that way. Like Christian Dawkins, I thought the world of him, and I still think the world of him because, again, I think you talk about a fall guy. When you look at how agents, a lot of these prominent guys got their claim to fame, it wasn't through, hey, I'm just going to do a great job and work hard.
Right.
Like, again, the naivety of that, just that thought. It's always with us. Like, man, we're bad people. Like, again, whatever agency, see how they got started. See how they got their first guy.
It's a dirty game.
It's a dirty game.
It's a dirty game.
And you don't know the game.
No, you have no idea.
No one tells you this is what it takes to get a player. When I was at Arizona, I started at Marist.
Mm-hmm.
Paid. What? You hear it. Because, again, I was the guy that used to be like, what? I'm never.
Right.
I ain't got to do that. I'm
Of
booked.
course.
Okay.
Watch this.
Watch this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And again, as you start to say, you go to Xavier, and it's like, all right, man, I got 100 kids I can recruit. You're not recruiting 100 kids. 100 kids can't help you at Arizona.
So what are you doing now, Buck?
Doing my best to stay busy and stay out the way. I'm the director of the New York City Gauchos.
Gauchos?
There you go. The infamous Gauchos.
Right.
Yeah, I'm also the 8th grade coach, and it's one thing I'm so emotional with because they're Book's babies, and I'm trying to make them understand that if they want to be as good as they say, what it takes. Mm-hmm. And I think at times I'm way too hard on them because they don't know, and because I got to coach the parents. Mm-hmm. The parents' expectations.
Right.
Because right now they're important. As an 8th grader, you get to high school, you are now the new low man on the totem pole. Mm-hmm. It starts over every 4 years. It starts over. And they don't understand that there's never been a kid in the history of the game go from 8th grade to college. Not that I know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I remember having this conversation with someone, and I told a parent, I said, there's been, I think, 2,000 NBA players ever. They're 2,000 billionaires right now. Mm-hmm. So you got a better chance of being a billionaire. Now, again, it's relative, but I said, just think of that. It's $450 a year. 450 NBA players a year. But all of you telling me you want to play in the NBA?
Right.
And I've been fortunate to coach, I want to say 7 lottery picks. Recruit them, McDonald's All-Americans, first rounders. Mm-hmm. I know how they look, I know how they think. Because, again, they also became Book's babies. Because those kids were so much like me, and I said, nah, check this out. You have to make it. If you don't make it, I didn't do my job.
Right.
Right.
And if I don't do my job, I can't go back on the block. I can't tell your mother or your father that I gave you my all. So in order for them to succeed, then I got to fail. And that's all right. That's all right.
Oh, man. You got us all steamy out
I
of
know
here.
we
But yeah, man. We hardcore in here.
I know.
Got us all steamy, Book. Well, damn, man. That is an amazing, amazing story. If no one told you, Book, I'm proud of you. I love you, brother. I've known you for a lot of years. I know
so
the work you
inspired
do.
by you.
I know the work you do. I know the work you've done. And heavy is the head that wears the crown, but you have strong shoulders, brother.
Even if you don't want to wear it.
It's
Even
yours.
if you don't want to wear it, it's yours. You've been crowned.
You've been crowned.
Yeah, Clown Prince or...
Well, I can't wait to see what else you have coming. I think that, and I can say with complete transparency, in my darkest moments of despair, there's always a kind of a little glimmer that kind of bring me out. So hopefully that glimmer continues,
Yeah.
And we are sitting here rooting for you 100% of the way.
I'm telling you, I have this website, man. CoachBookRichardson.com.
There you go.
That's
Shout it out.
CoachBookRichardson.com.
And I think it's just one of those things where I'm doing my best to give back, but to also service these kids and also these parents where I'm I'm willing to be open and honest, because I think that's what truly helps me, being open and honest. Because as you go through this thing, you go through 3 years of this thing, and you want it to stop. And I got a really good friend who said, Book, embrace the pain. And I said, how much after you embrace it? He said, you become numb to it. He said, after, 3rd degree burns, after that you don't feel it. I said, but why? That pain. Mm-hmm. And as college basketball has never stopped, it's never reset. My life has changed. So, I've just tried to do my best to. I've tried to do my best to make sure that I can offer something now, because I'm in a different stage. That I'm the only college coach. I'm the first college coach in the history of this game, to be arrested by the FBI. I'm the first college coach to go to jail for college basketball. No kid was hurt. No one was hurt. No one was touched. No, again, you just saying, like, what is it that you did? And that's why I said, like, on my website, I'm really trying to make sure that I can be open and honest. I can go talk. I can go
motivational speaking.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's huge, right? It's like just kind of telling your story. There's power in your story.
Mm-hmm.
There's power in
I
the
heard
story.
that before.
It
I'm
is.
telling you, there's so much power in the story. You got me crying, yo. I just met you today. Come over here,
I
like,
need to bring my tissues, man. Come on, Book.
oh my God, it's your story and the way you tell it. I have to tell you, it's palpable, and I hope that you continue to tell the story, and whatever we can do to push what you're doing.
I appreciate
any
it,
kind of charitable efforts, whatever we can do to kind of get your name and get your word out there. Please let us know.
This is awesome for me, because when you do it with family, you can be sincere.
Right.
And I've had a lot of people that's asked me to come on their show, and it's just being very selective, because what it is, other people is to, get their ratings up, and whatever. Again, I get it, because I want you guys to go through the roof, but I also know there's a level of sincerity that I know, like, do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Because right now, for the last 3 years, you've been the face of, you've had the scarlet letter. I feel like I'm a Ronin. I feel like I'm a samurai with no home. I got all these skills, right? I miss college basketball. I love college basketball. I'm a college basketball coach. I got all these skills. But, like, from what I understand, NCAA is going to ban me for.
Right, but at the same time,
they're going to ban me for life. So
they're not. It's not wasted talent, though. It's not wasted talent, because you still have the skill set.
Yep.
So it's about transferable skills and how we reposition those skills to do something else, right?
That ain't the only gig in town.
We just got to think about what it is.
Damn.
I appreciate you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mr. Emmanuel Book Richardson.
Pocketbook.
King of New York basketball.
Come on,
That's
Joy.
right, King of New York basketball. I said it. We're gonna end on a happy note. Book, keep winning, brother. Again, I'm proud of you. I love you, and we're gonna see you go through the top.
And this
I
is the
appreciate
comeback kids.
Comeback kids, unexpected success.
I can't wait to see your ascension.
Thank you.
I can't wait to
Appreciate y'all,
see
man.
it. All right, guys. Till next time, signing off.
Peace.
Keep winning.
Appreciate it.
You just listened to The Comeback Kids, presented by Unexpected Success with Joy and Dennis. Please like and subscribe.